Hello, if you're new to the channel, I've been playing through all the Assassin's Creed games. I've also been breaking these games down for you guys in long form videos that are fully scripted, fully narrated, and edited. But I'm starting to notice a trend with these said games. Each Assassin's Creed has been getting more and more buggy and having more and more issues the further along the storyline I get. I find this interesting because it should be the opposite way, because they've been making them longer and longer every time I get to a new game. You know, as I go from Assassin's Creed 1 to 2, it should be an improvement, and 2 to 3 should be an improvement. Everyone should get a little bit better, and it seems it's going the other way. When I started playing Assassin's Creed 1, I was surprised that the game was crashing, not once or twice, but a total of 8 times throughout my playthrough. Now, Assassin's Creed was released in 2007, and it was the first game in the franchise, so it's pretty forgiving. Even within my review, which you can check out on my channel, I said that the game is old, so we're going to forgive it for these kind of like mechanical errors. Though annoying, I understood that it came out in a different time, a different era. Technology wasn't as good, and, you know, consoles weren't as crazy as powerful as they are now. Though, for $20 Canadian, I was a little surprised that it was such an issue, you know, almost 15 years later. Though with its bugs, for our $20 we played through the whole game, and we enjoyed the content for the most part. Then let's fast forward to Assassin's Creed 2. Now, I just finished the editing process on that video. Remember to subscribe to know when that's released. But upon going through my footage while editing, I noticed a trend. The Poppin in that game was incredibly bad. The draw distance when you're in a tower was nice, but the draw distance in the street was horrendous. You could be in this amazing chase sequence, guards behind you chasing you down. You're running through the city of Florence in Renaissance Italy, and then all of a sudden, randomly popping in front of you is a bunch of guards. Or an NPC randomly T-posing over here, and then carrying on with their digital lives after they just randomly decide to start moving. We're going to call this immersion breaking, but it wasn't a deal breaker. I once again had chopped this up to a different time, a different era, different technologies. Though this was naive, and I'll get into that in a minute. This game once again cost $20 on Steam, Canadian, and so I paid my money, and you'd think that these little kind of issues would be, you know, solved. But we'll get to that in a second. I want to break down one more thing with you guys. Bear with me. I then played through Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, where the pop-in was super bad, and the audio was constantly either overpowering the narrative, music would just like deafen over top of like, you know, an important talking scene, or the game just crashed constantly. Now, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood was also plagued with the same issues, but this time I chopped it up to they're in a yearly upload schedule. Though that was stupid, and I plan to address this in a minute. Follow me on this journey. Alright, we played through Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 and Brotherhood. I tell you all this because those are the 3 Assassin's Creed games that I've completed back to back, played through all the bugs, all the audio issues, and all the crashes. And I already did those grinds, but I was absolutely appalled when I started up Assassin's Creed Revelations and was greeted with this. Now, if you've never played Assassin's Creed Revelations before, in this scene you're meeting Subject 16. Subject 16 was the person that was doing all this work that Desmond's been doing for the last 3 games before Desmond. And what ended up happening was Subject 16 went crazy because he couldn't figure out what era he was in, and he left clues within the Animus itself and within the actual coding of the program to help Desmond figure out who and what he was and the actual truth behind Abstergo and what's going on within the history. I tell you this because Desmond and Subject 16 are trapped on the digital plane of existence called the Animus Island. Because Desmond's mind has become so fragmented, he doesn't know what era he's in, or if he's alive, or if he's dead, or if he's Ezio or Altair. He doesn't know who he is anymore. So you might be saying, Mr. Flatface, I don't see anything wrong here. The digital world is glitching to show you how broken Desmond's mind is, and it's enhancing the story through visuals. Well, you, viewer, are not wrong. That's exactly what I thought too. I was like, oh, his mind's broken, so the world around him is glitching in and out. So I dealt with it. I did the whole walking with Subject 16 while his face is constantly contorting. I went through squinting my eyes as the background constantly flickers in and out of existence. I just thought it was part of the story. What helped even, you know, promote this thought and this train of thought that we and you are both on, that it's part of the story, is the fact that when it was in a cutscene, it didn't do it. Look at how amazing this cutscene with Ezio is. It's so good. It's so clean. It's so crisp. The graphics are amazing. The combat looks good. Everything about this cutscene is great. It's not flickering in and out of existence, so it made me even continue to think that Desmond's mind's so broken that it's wrecking the digital code.
Also give me warning that the road to Masyaf is overrun by mercenaries and bandits, not native to this land. what this could mean. I dread to guess. When I first set out from Roma 10 months ago, I did so with a single purpose: to discover what our father did not. In a letter written the year before my birth, he makes mention of a library hidden beneath the stones of Marciav Castle. A sanctum full of invaluable wisdom. So what will I find when I arrive there? Who will greet me? A host of eager Templars, as I fear most strongly. Or nothing but the whistling of a cold and lonely wind. Marciav has not been home to the assassins for almost 300 years now. Can we still claim it for our own? Are we welcome there? I am wary of this fight, Claudia. Not because I am tired, but because our struggle seems to move in one direction only, towards chaos. Today, I have more questions than answers. This is why I've come so far. To find clarity. To find the wisdom left behind by the great Altair. So that I may better understand the purpose of our fight. And my place in it. Should anything happen to me, Claudia, should my skills fail me, or my ambition lead me astray, do not seek retribution or revenge in my memory, but fight to continue the search for truth, so that all may benefit. My story is one of many thousands, and the world will not suffer if it ends too soon.
I thought it was normal until I started the tutorial where you have to follow Altair through Marciav Castle learning your new parkour moves, and it was still happening. It was so hard to look at that I realized that it wasn't a design choice, that it was actually something wrong with the coding. So I initially thought that it was my own files, so I started to verify my files. Once the files were verified and there was nothing wrong, I decided to go into Assassin's Creed Brotherhood to see if maybe it was my computer was crap in the bed. And that was what was causing the screen flickering, but it was smooth, so I decided to go back over into Assassin's Creed Revelations, where it was still happening. So, I looked it up, and it turns out this is a well-known issue on PC. There's entire forums about it, articles written on it, dating all the way back to 2011. This is not a new issue. It's a simple fix, though. I don't see how it wasn't fixed on Ubisoft's end, but it's a simple fix. This brings me back to my original point from earlier about the game being a yearly release. I made this excuse up for the company when I shouldn't have. It's not a yearly release. It was released in 2011. There has been an entire decade between then and now for them to have fixed this issue. Now I know I'm kind of cucking you on this whole actual fix thing, but it's so stupid simple that it makes all the points I just made up to this point more pronounced and more like, oh my god, what the hell? You guys want to know what the fix is? Alright, I'm going to tell you. You simply delete systemdetection.dll. That's it. That's it. You, the consumer, have to go into the system files of an 11-year-old game and delete a file that is literally breaking your game. I want to point out that this is a $20 game on Steam. Oh, but Mr. Flatface, it's also on Ubisoft Plus. Fine, that's also $20 a month. How is it that an 11-year-old game has not fixed this issue by now? It's simply deleting a file. It's a cancerous file and it's ruining your game, and if you go delete it, you fix it. It seems like they should just give you the game without that file, right? No? Oh, I'm crazy. But Mr. Flatface, it's an old game. They don't have time to fix that. They have new games to make. Okay, I do see your point, but let's look at it this way. Imagine you go to a store and you buy a TV. Let's say Samsung. It's a nice TV. And they sell it to you with a crack in the screen. Not a big one, but enough to annoy you. And rather than replacing said TV, they give you a new screen and send you home to change it yourself. I bet you wouldn't be happy. I bet you'd be pretty mad. And I'd bet you'd feel like you gave them money for a broken product. I'd bet you'd feel like the company was not worth it. Bugs and glitches are okay. I say that in every review I do. I don't mind bugs and glitches. I truly don't. I get that it's digital code and it will have issues because not everyone's computers are the same and not everyone's consoles are the same, and some PCs run hotter and some PCs are dirty, and there's a whole bunch of factors that game developers can't really factor in. But this is literally a cancerous file that sits within your files like a tumor that is over a decade old, and they're still selling it to you with this very notable issue. It's not game breaking. Well, it is if you don't fix it. But I shouldn't have to go do all this extra work to play a game I just paid you money for. Imagine if Call of Duty did this, or Saints Row or GTA made you actually go into the system files and start changing things just so you can play their game. I know that I'm doing these older games so I can do reviews on them. I think it's cool, but I don't think it's cool that Ubisoft is releasing you games that are already broken upon getting it. They'll happily take your $20, but then you got to fix it yourself. It's an 11-year-old game, but it's got a 11-year-old problem with it. And back 11 years ago, that game wasn't $20. It was $60. Just remember that. Now, Ubisoft is currently barely floating on the surface in the gaming world. With all of its scandals and issues, it doesn't really need little things like this, right? I do have a point to make here with this comment. Just bear with me one more second. I've always been taught that a little problem here and a little problem there will soon turn into a big problem. Maybe that's what we're seeing within the news now with Ubisoft. The company's barely floating by. They tried to do the whole NFT thing. They seem more worried about doing other products rather than fixing the products they already have. You can go through the Ubisoft portfolio and look at all their games that have been released broken and buggy, and it just enhances the fact that this 11-year-old game is still broken today. They don't care, and it kind of bothers me because Assassin's Creed is a good franchise. It's an amazing franchise, and I can't wait for the next one. But it kind of bothers me that an 11-year-old game can't be fixed, and then they're more worried about giving you an NFT. Imagine if they decided to remaster this and release it with a bunch of NFTs with it. Would you feel a little ripped off that they released you NFTs, and then they also said go remove the system DLL detection file? Bet you would. Between buying the game, playing the game, editing the footage, writing the script, putting the two together, and then uploading it, these videos take a lot of hours. And when I have to deal with stuff like this, it makes me irritated. Hence, this video. I wanted to share some of my frustrations with you guys and kind of put it into a nice little compact video that isn't, 2-3 hours long. This is a nice short little video to show you guys these are the frustrations I've been having while making this content. Anyway, sometimes I just need to rant and vent, and I just did. I have been your host, Mr. Flatface, the man of many faces and even more opinions, and this has been my rant on broken games. They charge money for them, so you should have the right to complain for them. Remember to subscribe, comment, and leave me a like so I know that making this content is worth it. Also, do you guys like the rant videos? Let me know in the comments because I got so much more I could rant about. Anyway, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.